Hi, my name is Trey Du. I'm a support engineer here at UN Solutions. Today I'll be showing you how to do an integration from Excel to BC in SmartConnect.com. To start, we will want to go to Azure. You can just do portal.azure and it'll bring up your Azure environment. Then we'll go over to app registration. Right now we're just setting up the connection for SmartConnect.com. We'll be going into here in a second. But yeah, once we're in app registration, we will click new registration, go to the name. We'll call this one a BC connection. Pretty basic. Again, we can just leave it this top one here. It should work for our situation, and then we can move on to the redirect URI. We can do select a platform and then go to web, and then we will need to grab this URI that SmartConnect will provide. So we will actually go back into SmartConnect, go over to connections, hit create connection, and we'll be creating a business central connection. So you'll find it right here, the OData one. Dynamics 365, business central data. Give it a second to load. And then we will want to go to this little banner down here, and it will call Business Central Nav OData callback. And then copy that one, paste it into here, and then this will registrate our application in Azure. Once we're in here, it'll automatically bring us into the registration, and we will immediately want to go over to certificates and secrets. Once we are in here, we'll go to new client secret, give it a description. BC connection works again. And then we can change the expiry date. I always do the max, which is 2 years, and hit add. So once we do this, you immediately want to grab this value right here, as this will go away and it will be hidden from you if you do not grab it immediately. So go ahead, copy that, make sure you have it somewhere safe, save it in a folder, save it in a file, and then we will go we will go to the API permissions to make sure we can update those. Once in here, we will go to API permissions and then add permission. Go into here, find the Business Central API, which is just right here, Dynamics 365 Business Central. Select delegated permissions, and then we will want to select both of these. And then you can hit add permission. So that'll update this. All of these permissions look good now. And we can actually go back to overview to start filling out the information in SmartConnect. First, let's grab this tenant ID. So tenant ID, it did automatically fill in some of these, but that's not correct. Tenant ID will be this one right here, but let's fill in these top two ones right now. I'll just call this a pretty simple BC connection for video. And then service URL, this will actually be the API Business Central Dynamics thing that will be using your tenant ID in the URL. Let me just grab that real quick. It'll be API Business Central .dynamics.com/v2, and then it will use this tenant ID right here. And then you can either say sandbox or production, and then OData v4. So that all looks correct. So then we will go back and grab the client ID and that client secret. So client ID will be this top one right here. And we can paste that right in. And then a client secret is the one that we grabbed earlier that I saved in a special place. Make sure nobody stole it. And then I will paste that on in there. And then we can go ahead and validate this. Validate here. It is going to ask for my permission. It'll try to log you into your Microsoft account, ask for permissions. It'll ask for all this. You can just hit accept. It's all okay. And then you can see that it'll update your OAuth user here. And then now you can select a default company. And just like that, we have created our BC connection in SmartConnect.com. I can go ahead and hit save. It was saved successfully. So now I can hit close. And we can move on to the data source. For the data source, we want to go over to the data source tab, go into bulk sources and into file. I have a BC file already set up, or not a BC, an Excel file already set up with all of this information that I can show you. A source file right here. It's called BC customers. All you do is gotta click select file and then select the file from your computer. It's pretty simple to upload it, but we can call this, or give it a description, BC customers for video. That looks good. Don't select file at runtime, otherwise it'll ask for a file every time you run the map, and we do not want to do that. And then you select the sheet. So I only have one sheet, so that makes it pretty easy. Then you can save it, and if it was successful, it'll say that, and you can preview it, and you can see this is how I have my Excel set up. Just a simple 1, 2, 3 customers, and then some simple data in here just for an example. Once that is all done, I like to save it just in case something happened, but it should be fine. We can hit close, and then now we can finally go into the processes and get an integration going. So once we go to processes, integration processes, we can hit this plus in the top right to start a new integration. So now we'll just fill these tabs out one tab at a time and get this integration going. We'll just call it BC customers for video. Since we are on .com, you don't actually have to have, or you can actually use spaces in the integration ID, which is very nice. So then you can just give a quick explanation to BC customers from Excel to BC. I'll remove that first, BC. Customers from Excel to BC. Makes sense. All right, once you have filled in both of those, the source tab will unlock and we can select that data source we just created. So again, it starts with the source type. The source type will be bulk data source because that is what the file is under. And then source, we will find the one that we have just made, which is an Excel data source. And now we will find the Excel workbook that we have created, BC customers for video right at the top, and it looks great. Add a source grouping, we will want to find a unique value in our data source that we can use to, that each line is different so it knows which one to use. So a good one for this one will be a customer number. That should be unique for every single one. And if we preview it, we can see that yes, it is a unique value for every single customer number, which is what we want. Once we have filled in all of this, the target tab will unlock and we can go into there. Our target will be Business Central OData because that's what we have set up. Destination will be BC connection for video. Not sure why there's a couple extra ones, but that's okay. So then we'll go into a select service. We'll find a customer card. Looks good right there. And then that will unlock this right here. We can ignore all of these. We don't need to click any of them. And this page should be fine. Once you have filled out the settings, you can also change the company if you like, but the default will work for my situation. All right, you can see the rest of it is filled out as we will just be mapping this customer card service. Moving on to the integration, target lines, you do have to select the customer card since there can be multiple, and then it will do source grouping first. So we will want to group on that customer number that we also defined in the data source as being our key field. We'll want to make sure that one is checked here, and then we can move on to target integration. Once we do that, we will have to select this one isn't as nice as on-premise. You can't just drag and drop. You will have to find every single value that you want in here and fill it out manually. So we will just do that real quick. Nothing to it. As long as you have named it pretty well, you should be able to find everything in here. So we can just go tab by tab. City, that will be our city. Address will be our address 1. Address 2 will be our address 2. Country region code will be our country. Right there. Our postal code will be our postal code. And then county will be our state. Just fill in all of that. Phone number, we will have a phone number. Email, I don't believe we have any of this. Move on to 4. Contact name, I don't think we have. State inscription, we don't want any of this. This is just a basic one, so we are just filling in the most basic fields. So not much of this will be relevant to this example, but we do have to look through it. And that should be all of them. So I can go ahead and click only show mapped, and that should be all of the fields that we want to integrate. Let me just double check here. I do believe we have one more to add. Contact name, we do have a contact person in here. Perfect, we'll just make sure that one gets filled out. Otherwise, everything is looking good and should be filled out correctly. And I don't believe there's any other things that we need to do. So we can actually just go ahead and run this integration, and we should see a successful run. Do you wish to save? I always click yes, unless you for some reason don't want to. So then you can see it'll pull it up to this new window. We can hit start process, and if you make sure you confirm that one. And I did make one mistake. It'll say, because it already exists, I didn't select update of existing. So if you want to do that, it is just right here, select update of existing. Now once I run, it will work successfully and there won't be any errors. It'll successfully run, and you will have created an integration from Excel to BC in SmartConnect.com. All right, if you like this video, please let us know. Otherwise, if you have any other questions about creating integrations in SmartConnect.com, you can email us at support@e1solutions.com. Thank you for watching.